in this episode, Yandy and Rashida finally end up having a conversation with each other after they got into a really big argument when they first got on the trip to Mexico, which we did not get to see because the argument happened after the camera stopped rolling and everybody was still hanging out with each other. But apparently Rashida went off on Yandy saying that they're not actually friends with each other. And so during this conversation in this episode, Yandy tells Rashida that she thought that they were cool, but then they got on the trip and now Rashida's claiming that they're not friends. And Rashida tried to clear it up, saying that she didn't mean to say that her and Yandy are not friends with each other. She just meant to say that they're not actually best friends because she said that they barely ever speak. She said that the only time they really talk to each other is when they're filming for the show. And okay, I get what Rashida's trying to say. They're not really friends outside of filming for the show. However, during the show, Yandy definitely has had Rashida's back, especially when it came to the whole Jasmine situation. And I have yet to see Rashida actually ride for any of her friends on the show the way that I've seen these women ride for her, because literally every time one of these women on the show end up seeing Jasmine out somewhere, they start going at her, giving her an attitude, trying to fight her. But I have yet to see Rashida do that for any of them. Now, Yandy ended up questioning Rashida as to why she didn't call her up after she found out about the altercation between her, Jasmine, and Jasmine's friends. And she said that the reason why she didn't call her up is because she didn't want to be involved in anything that had to do with any cheating allegations against Mendices. Now, I don't think that that's the real reason why she didn't call Yandy. I think she didn't call Yandy because she didn't really care. She was happy that Jasmine and her friends were going at somebody else other than Kirk, and that's probably the reason why she didn't say anything. Because honestly, that's what this feels like to me. It seems like Rashida and Kirk are happy that their marriage is not the one in the hot seat this time. They're glad that it's Yandy and Mendices and not them, and that's the reason why they're going along with all these rumors about Mendices, which I'm not saying the rumors are not true. However, I don't really know. But this conversation definitely showed that Yandy is in a little bit of denial about what Mendices might be doing behind her back, because she started telling Rashida that she knows for a fact that Mendices has not been to Jasmine's bar. But Rashida quickly corrected Yandy and said that she doesn't know if Mendices has actually been to Jasmine's bar, but said that Jasmine was the one that told Kirk that she saw Mendices at her bar. And wait a second, didn't Mendices basically admit that he was at the bar that Jasmine worked at last season? Like literally at the end of last season, Jasmine asked him in front of Yandy if he recognized her from the bar, and he said that he didn't recognize her, but he admitted that he was there. So I'm confused as to why, Yandy's trying to make it seem like he never admitted that he was at the bar. He just said that he wasn't flirting with Jasmine and he never had a conversation with her, but he did basically admit that he was there. But please correct me if I'm wrong, because I could have remembered the conversation wrong, because it was a while ago, but I do remember that conversation happening. And then Rashida starts shading Yandy's marriage once again, because she ends up getting in her confessional and one of the producers end up asking Rashida if she saw this video that everybody's claiming is going around of Mendices cheating on Yandy, and she says she pleads the fifth, which means that she saw the video, just like Kirk said the same thing last week when he was asked the same question. So apparently there's this video going around of Mendices allegedly cheating on Yandy, and everybody is claiming that they saw it. But Rashida and Yandy do end up squashing their beef, I guess, because Rashida said that they can be cordial with each other and work on their friendship. I don't think there's a friendship there after everything that's been said this season, though, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, because Scrappy wants Shakira and the baby to move down to Atlanta so that he has access to his son whenever he wants to see him, they decided to go house hunting. Not for them to live in the house together, but for Shakira and the baby to find a house for themselves. And the house that they went to look at was really extravagant. It was really big and nice, and you can tell that it was very expensive, and Scrappy looked like he was sweating, okay, because he was nervous about the price, which I don't understand why he was nervous about the price, because I already knew that Shakira wasn't going to agree to take that house. And look, I'm not trying to pocket watch Scrappy, but he does have a reputation for not paying his half of the rent and bills, according to Bambi, and I think Erica said the same thing before, and then Momma Dee kind of confirmed it, I think, earlier this year. So I hope Shakira is getting a house and she's not expecting for Scrappy to help her pay for it. I mean, maybe he has gotten his money up since he's been with Erica and Bambi, who really knows, but I just feel like she shouldn't rely on it. Now, they sit down and have a conversation at the house, and Scrappy brings up the fact that he still wants to get a DNA test on the baby because they really didn't know each other when she ended up getting pregnant, and she agreed that she's fine with doing the DNA test because she knows he's the father. However, she does express her frustration with his mother because a few episodes ago, Momma Dee ended up going on Scrappy's podcast, and she ended up pulling out a DNA test and talking about it on the podcast, and I guess Shakira felt like Momma Dee was coming for her, so she feels some type of way. I'm not saying that Shakira is wrong for feeling some type of way about Momma Dee doing what she did. However, I don't really feel bad for her because she was joining in on Momma Dee going at, Bambi, thinking that she was going to be different and she was going to be treated special. And they showed her in this episode that she's no different than any other woman that Scrappy has been with. But Shakira was all over Scrappy, smiling, rubbing his chest and his stomach. Like, she was all over him. You can tell that she actually does want to be with him, but he doesn't seem to reciprocate that. Like, it doesn't seem like he's interested in her, and it doesn't seem like he wants to be with her at all. But you can definitely tell that she's really into him. Now, because Momma Dee has not met the baby yet, Scrappy ends up bringing Shakira and the baby over so that Momma Dee can meet him. And as soon as they sit down, and then she immediately starts bringing up a DNA test, which I feel like Momma Dee needs to learn how to stay out of Scrappy's business. However, he lets her do it, so I can't really feel bad for him. But he already mentioned getting a DNA test to Shakira, so I don't feel like it was necessary for Momma Dee to say it too. And so Shakira ends up pulling a muzzle out of her bag and telling Momma Dee that she needs to wear it because she talks too much. And look, I do think that it's good that Shakira is standing her ground with Momma Dee because people need to stand their ground with her because she takes things too far. She acts like a bully to every woman that Scrappy gets with. However, I can't feel bad for her. I'm sorry. Because when Momma Dee was dragging Bambi on social media a couple of weeks ago, she was joining in, basically calling Bambi weird because Bambi was clapping back at Momma Dee, and she was saying that she didn't think there was anything wrong with the way that Momma Dee was trying to protect Scrappy against Bambi and the way that she was attacking her. Now, I feel like she's trying to kiss Scrappy and Momma Dee's ass because at the end of the day, she wants to be a part of that family and she wants to be the different baby mama. She wants to be the one that they actually like, and I just don't feel like that's going to be the case. Momma Dee's eventually going to get bored with Bambi and she's going to start going at Shakira. I mean, it already started this season. And I guess Shakira thought that she was special to Scrappy because she was expecting him to have her back in that situation, and he didn't. He started basically getting mad at her for disrespecting his mother, and he ends up walking out the door, and she starts crying, okay? She's in the bathroom in Momma Dee's house crying, and Momma Dee's in there trying to calm her down, and she's basically saying that the reason why she's crying is because Scrappy didn't have her back just now. And it's like, Scrappy never has the backs of any woman that he's with against his mother. He lets his mother drag every woman that he's been with, and that's partly why none of his relationships work. I don't understand why she thought she was going to be the special one and why she thought she was going to be different. And now recently, Scrappy has been posted up all over social media with a different woman that people are saying is his girlfriend, and Momma Dee is liking all the pictures and everything like that. So I can definitely see Shakira being in Bambi's shoes next season. So while in Mexico, the cast ends up getting together for a final dinner, and basically Ashley ends up deciding that she was going to apologize to Tilo and Carly, and then Zayn ended up following after that, okay? Which I thought was stupid. I felt like he should have been the one to apologize first because he's the one that took things too far. I understand why he was upset because Carly kept cutting off Ashley. However, I don't feel like it was right for him to call, Carly out of her name. I think he took things too far. And Carly ends up showing up a little bit after they apologized, and so she didn't actually accept the apology and said that she didn't want to talk about it while they were still in Mexico, that she wanted to handle things when they get back to Atlanta. I don't feel like the situation is that big of a deal to take it back to Atlanta. I feel like they could have dropped everything right there in Mexico and not brought it back to Atlanta, but we know that Carly likes drama. However, I don't think that this situation between her, Ashley, and Zayn was her fault. Now, during this dinner, Zayn actually ends up pulling Ashley to the side, and he tells her that he wants to move back into the house when they get back to Atlanta, and he was saying that it was because he was tired of staying in hotels and staying at his friends' houses, and she got a little bit offended by that because she felt like he should be saying that the reason why he wants to move back in the house is because he really misses her and wants to be with her, which is obviously what she's going to want to hear. However, I think he said it the way that he meant it the first time he said it, which was that he was tired of staying in hotels and that's why he wants to go home. I have a hard time believing that he's actually changed and that he's going to do right by Ashley, but she told him that he can move back into the house, so she's letting him back in and she doesn't want the relationship to end. So I honestly feel like there's going to be more drama to come between the two of them next season. Now, during this dinner, Yandy actually ends up bringing up the cast album that Spice put together, and that's when Bambi immediately started saying that she heard she was off the cast album and that Spice doesn't want her a part of it anymore. And Rashida is such a liar, okay? Because she tells Bambi that she doesn't think that's the case because when she talked to Spice recently Spice wasn't on that type of time, which is an absolute lie, because then they ended up showing the clip of Rashida talking to Spice, and Spice basically saying that Bambi only got 11 viewers on Spotify. So I just feel like, you know, Rashida was lying for Spice. And that's why Bambi was saying to everybody that she feels like people walk on eggshells for Spice and never call her out when she's wrong. And that's where, you know, Carly starts feeling vindicated, because she said the same thing about everybody last season when it came to Spice. She said that nobody wants to go against Spice. And look, I like Spice, okay? I don't think she's wrong in every situation. However, I do think that she throws rocks and hides her hand, and that she is a lot messier than she wants to admit that she is. Although I feel like the reason why a lot of people don't want to call her out and be on her bad side is because she is a real artist, okay? Most of the people on this show don't really make music, and if they do, nobody really listens to it, okay? Spice is a known artist that does get a lot of views. A lot of people show up to her concert. She is popular. So I feel like they want to be on her good side because they benefit off of being her friend. And so I feel like that's the reason why people don't really call Spice out. However, I do think that it's weird that Carly felt vindicated in that moment, because she was begging to be Spice's friend, and I feel like she was begging to be Spice's friend because of the way that she benefited off of that friendship as well. So to me, it was kind of phony that she was acting like she was vindicated when Bambi said that everybody acts like they're scared to go against Spice. Because I feel like if Spice wanted to be Carly's friend again, Carly would jump at the opportunity right away, because she was basically crying over Spice for 2 seasons. But I do feel like Jock was a vibe on this trip to Mexico, because he was kind of the peacemaker. Like, he shut the conversation down about Spice, not because he's trying to defend her, but because she wasn't there to actually defend herself, and he didn't want the night to be ruined, and I think that was a good thing. And Ray, who is Bambi's boyfriend, ended up giving her a promise ring, and he basically apologized to her for upsetting her in last week's episode. So I thought that was kind of sweet. We know that they recently got engaged to each other, so I guess everything worked out. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.